Okay, so time for this week's Street Talk. Like I said earlier, we very much enjoyed this week's Coronation Street, so looking forward to having a good old chat about it with you, Gemma. Would you like to hear some fantastic storyline titles for this week? I like this first one, Grievelin.
That's good. Yeah.
Grievelin? Is that all I get for that?
Yeah.
I was looking for
You're
ages.
making light of it.
What?
You're making
I am a
light
little bit. I was thinking for ages about, like, there's only so much you can get joke-wise about Cerberus. His name doesn't pun very well. But Grievelin, because sad stuff this week. I want to do the Look Who's Stalking storyline next, even though it maybe wasn't one of the main ones, but it's certainly leading up to fireworks next week, I'm sure. The Damon drink. Yeah?
What's the drinking?
Well, Damon and Sarah had a drink together in the bar, and it's led to all sorts of things. That's how it starts.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that storyline, surprisingly so. That was something where I'd seen a picture of it the previous week, and I didn't know what was going on. I was like, oh, Sarah Louise and Damon, why would you do that? But actually, it turned out to be quite interesting, and it made me enjoy Damon a whole lot more. I didn't know what to call the Stephen stuff, because he wasn't really LS Stephen this week, was he? He didn't even get any drugs. So I didn't know whether to go with the Lord of the Underworld, which is what we ended up calling his new job title last week. But then I also thought that contract, about the little nitty gritties of the contract, so we could call it Read the Small Print. Yeah. And the other one, Fiddler and the Rufus. I just getting a hums for you. Maybe it's because this is the second time I've told you that I'm going to go with Lord of the Underworld for this one. Hey, Gemma.
No.
Gemma.
No.
Pull my finger.
No.
I've not had that for a few weeks.
This is not going to be called that for very much longer.
If living well better, I think it's something better, because Pull My Finger is storyline title gold in my eyes anyway. We also had a little bit more of the explicit consent warning, although still no sign of Amy, but it seems to be setting things up for that storyline finally coming back into the fore next week. Would you prefer to do Dead Dog, or would you prefer to do Rovers and pub stuff?
I don't want to do a dead dog story.
I'll do the dead dog story. Oh my god, this is just tragic this week, and it's always sad to lose a Corrie pet. Well, sometimes it's sad. Usually it's sad. And I did go into this week knowing that this was going to happen, and I was thinking they'd better get this right. They'd better really, be. There'd better be tears across the nation when this happens.
Well, there was. It was like when the Queen died all over again.
It almost was. I mean, looking at the reaction on social media this week to Cerberus dying, who I'm not going to say, if you think about iconic Coronation Street pets, I'm not going to say that Cerberus is one that people would automatically mention. It's not a spring to mind sort of animal. But I think it was Maureen Lipman's performance. Honestly, she was amazing. So yes, really, really sad stuff. But it started off on Monday, and as these pet deaths often do, it kind of sprang up on them quite quickly, because the main drama on Monday really was Evelyn still being really hacked off after Roy not showing up at her birthday party the other day. So she goes to the cafe and she wants to just clear the air and stuff with him, and they both admit they owe each other an apology. So it looks like everything's okay for the time being. Roy admits, look, I'm sorry. I was at Carla's place. She was having her house on fire. What's it called? Fire alarms ringing away. Apparently.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
We've been told that this week that how did we miss the fire alarms? We don't remember.
My only defence is that I just ignore fire alarms because they're usually going off because I'm cooking something.
That's true. So he says, look, sorry I didn't come to your birthday party, but I did have some important other storyline to be involved in. She says, yeah, you don't blame yourself about it. I'm sorry, Carla's ill. She says, look, he says, I should go and bake her a cake or something like that. No, she says that. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's not relevant at all. But they're friends by the end of this episode. And this was when we see Cerberus kind of sneaking around the kitchen area. And he comes out looking a little bit guilty, And because earlier on that episode, was it that episode or was it last week? I don't remember. But an Eccles cake had been dropped onto the floor. Roy was in a scene with Billy, wasn't he? And Billy Billy talks about the 3-second rule, and Roy's there too busy playing away on online chat on his phone to notice. So it seems like Cerberus has maybe snuffed the Eccles cake there, but it goes unnoticed by Roy and Evelyn. Back at home later, Cerberus is feeling the effects. I mean, we all know what it's like, don't we? We've eaten something that we shouldn't, feeling a little bit bloated, been eating scone since Mother's Day, and you kind of just want to lie there on the sofa and just
let it
just blob.
Yeah.
And he's just lying there all pathetically, and Fizz says he's not doing so well, and Evelyn's like, no, he's fine, he's okay.
She says he's getting on.
Oh yeah, Fizz says.
Well, he's old.
Yeah, he's 10, wasn't he, Cerberus? I don't know. Is that old for greyhounds?
Well, this is the thing that people always seem to be astounded by, and I don't understand why this isn't common knowledge. But different dog breeds have different lifespans,
different shelf lives,
and smaller dogs generally live longer than bigger dogs, which I thought was obvious, but no.
But
if you want a long-lived dog, you need a Chihuahua.
Well, 10 years isn't too bad.
10 years is not long enough.
Fizz is there saying, not Monica. Cerberus is looking a bit peaky and getting old, and Evelyn's like, no, plenty of life in the old dog yet. And then Fizz just disappears out of the story for the rest of the week. She's gone to see Scylla, hasn't she, by Wednesday's episode.
She's in the Victoria Gardens crying over a dead chinchilla.
Not that Scylla. Scylla the mum. Because for some reason...
Scylla the mumzilla.
Scylla was Fizz wasn't required or surplus to requirements in this, or maybe they just couldn't find a way to hide Jenny McAlpine's pregnancy bump at the vets. I don't know, but it's all Evelyn and Tyrone, and Cerberus has been up all night. He's been sick.
Well, Evelyn's been up all night with Cerberus.
Yeah. But she's determined not to go to the vets. I think she's very much in denial, isn't she? She's like, oh, he'll get over it. You know what those vets are like. They'll fleece you for hundreds of pounds, which is true, especially if you have to take them out of hours.
I know, but we're the total opposite, aren't we? We're like, oh, look at she looks a bit sad. Let's take her to the vet.
I know. No, my vet's like, ka-ching.
Yeah.
So Evelyn's like, no, she'll be fine. But Tyrone's looking a bit worried. Evelyn goes to the shop, but when she gets back, Tyrone's there just like, oh, I really think that there's something wrong with Cerberus here. He's eventually finally able to convince her to take him to the vets, and even at this point, Evelyn's starting to look a little bit upset herself now. I think she can sense that there's something not quite right with her mutt, and the vet's looking very concerned, and he's like, right, we're gonna have to run some tests. Lots of people online pointed out that Cerberus was treated an awful lot better than Carla was when she was going through her medical issues recently. Still no blood tests for Carla, but Cerberus has had all sorts. I mean, you get what you pay for, don't you?
Yes, NHS is free, so what do you want?
Yeah.
I want to just ask a question here. Is this the beginning of Evelyn's year of misery? Now Corrie bosses can see how well she cries. Does that mean she's going to be...
Oh, maybe.
She's going to be
the... Can you imagine that? That's what they do to the... It's usually the young Corrie girls that get that,
it's definitely always women.
It is the women.
Do you think that we're going to be given Maureen Lipman the Weatherfield Waterworks Award for 2023 at the end of the year?
I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that at all because she was damn good. No, I think I would. She was great. Anyway, so the vet's like saying, has he eaten anything funny recently? His stomach's quite swollen. His lymph nodes and
his lymph nodes.
Lymph nodes. What did I say?
Lymph nodes.
No, lymph nodes. And so they have to keep him in, and you can tell Evelyn is worried. She like gives him a big hug, and she's not one to ever show her emotions, is she? She's so buttoned up tight, but giving him a big kiss and a cuddle on the head, and again, as a viewer knowing what was coming, it just made it all the sadder. So Roy ends up finding Evelyn sitting in the cafe looking beside herself with worry, and she explains to him what's been going on. And they're saying, oh, the vet says that he's eating something funny maybe, and then this is when he kind of very sheepishly mentions, oh, there was an Eccles cake on the floor the other day, maybe he's had that. And Evelyn is like, what? She is fuming. He especially when Roy admits that the reason that he hadn't picked the Eccles cake up or noticed it was because he was distracted by his online chess tournament, and she is like, what on earth? You are responsible. If Cerberus dies, I'll never forgive you. It was a very, very soap kind of ultimatum, wasn't it? And you did a bit of research, didn't you, into the toxicity of raisins for greyhounds.
I don't think an Eccles cake would kill a greyhound.
The thing is, I don't think it was supposed to. No, I think Evelyn's eventually going to realise.
No, I know, but what? Right, number one, if you ever suspect that your dog has eaten something that they shouldn't have done, and they're at the vet's, don't just sit about, phone the vet up and say, I think I've worked it out. You probably want to pump his stomach because he's probably eaten raisins. Don't just go in there and tell the vet, oh, I've finally worked it out.
Well, I think it wasn't long after, I mean, it was during that conversation that she gets the phone call from the vet calling her back in again. Yeah, but she doesn't,
she goes and tells the vet. She goes into the office and tells the vet later.
Oh, okay.
I would immediately phone the vet up and go, someone's told me he ate an Eccles cake. He's probably had raisins. Mm. But number two, I don't think that you need to worry if your dog eats a raisin, even though it says, oh, there's no like minimum amount of raisins that's safe. Don't feed your dog raisins or grapes.
Would you say there's no reason to panic?
I just think that this is the sort of thing that makes people get panicky and worried, but I don't think that you should never ever feed it to them.
You said that it needed like 80 grams of raisins to be toxic, and there was probably about 20 in the Eccles cake or something, unless he's very generous.
I did find a little online calculator that said how much your dog weighs and then how many grams of raisins, and it was like 76.
Oh, the wonders of the internet.
But
it's exactly what Tim Berners-Lee wanted, isn't it?
Someone else found a website that said no raisins, even one, will kill your dog.
Okay, so maybe somewhere in the middle.
I'm pretty sure I used to feed my dog grapes.
Well, the thing is...
But I'm not saying you should feed your dog grapes. Don't do that.
Cerberus had bad kidneys, and I think, the Evelyn taking him to the vets probably just... Yeah, it was. And Cerberus could have gone, suffering maybe unnoticed for a while if he hadn't been going to the vets.
Nina said, I think I found that Eccles cake.
She does, but I got a feeling that she was just trying to say it to make Roy feel better about himself, because he's like beside himself with guilt when he realised what's happened, and Nina tries to... I read that as her saying, oh, don't worry, I'm sure I found an Eccles cake and it didn't have a bite in it, but who knows? At the end of the day, the Eccles cake did not kill Cerberus, sadly. Bad kidneys is a real... I've had pets die of bad kidneys before. Like my first cat Zoe had kidney problems. I think it's a common thing. Anyway, they go. She and Tyrone go back to the vet's office, the vet's surgery practice, whatever it's called, and she says, "Don't worry, it's okay. I'm fine. It's just an Eccles cake." And this is when she's told, no, he's in kidney failure. It's not looking good. But
raisins would cause that, just to be clear. That is how a dog would die.
Oh.
So we still don't
Roy, the murderer.
We still don't actually know whether it was the Eccles. I mean, I guess it's like anything. There's no... Everything's poisonous. It depends on the dose.
I'm not gonna put it down. In my head, it's a coincidence, I think. Anyway, she says, he says, look, well, we could give him treatment, but honestly, it's not going to improve his quality of life that much, and I think we need to do the kindest thing and put him to sleep. And
is this why you don't like eating raisins? Because you're scared you're going to die?
I'm not. I don't like anything with raisins in, and
so that won't get
this is just. I'm double down on that now. Exactly, my opinion on raisins has been validated, quite frankly. Evelyn's like, no, second opinion. I'm still in denial about it, and he's like, I've spoken with my colleagues. We're like the medical centre. We have like one person in a day that's needed here. We've got nothing better to do. So this is the most humane thing to do. And he takes him. The scene kind of carries straight on into his room, and Cerberus is there lying on a mat on the floor, and this is when Evelyn starts crying, a tear running down the cheek, and she sits down beside him. It was just the most tragic thing, and I wanted it to be. Like, I went into the episode thinking, this had better be gut-wrenchingly, dreadfully, terribly melancholy and tragic and sad, and this is better give me a wobbly lip, and not much on current. No, I never cry at things, do I? I'm not a weeper, and I didn't weep at this, but honestly, when at this point I was going, I wondered how you'd cope with it, because
what do you mean?
I mean, you don't like dying anything on Coronation Street, and there's a bit of a dog fan.
I don't like medical things.
I was like really worried that you would hate this episode so much, and you would just want to be clamming up and not want to talk about it. But you took it quite well.
Thanks.
Well, I mean, you were laughing about the fact that
you have to. What I do if I find something's affecting me too much is I just make jokes about it, so I don't cry. So I was just saying to you, this is quite funny because that you said, oh, how did they get a greyhound to stay still for so long? I was like, look, buddy, greyhounds are the laziest dog you will ever see. They probably didn't have to bribe him at all. We just let him laze about.
You have had history with greyhounds.
He was having the time of his life, having his ears scritched by Maureen Lipman. Dame Maureen Lipman was at his beck and call all day long. He was probably the happiest dog in the country.
Yeah. We've heard.
Oh, and apparently the dog's name in real life is Boss.
Oh, really?
So there we go.
I thought it was actually Cerberus in real life.
Well, somebody said that on Twitter, and everybody knows that Twitter only tells the truth.
No, I've heard of other times when they've had to have animals, or dogs specifically, look sick on Coronation Street. They've given them just like a massive runaround until they're completely shagged out.
Yeah, but with greyhounds, that would literally be like 5 seconds.
Well, why do they race them then?
Because they're fast, but they're lazy. They can run for really fast. It's like you. They can run really fast once, and that's it.
I am the
and then
greyhound
they're done
of
for
men.
the day.
It's true. Okay, so I've lost where I was just kind of spoiling the mood a little bit here. But
Evelyn doesn't want to see him suffer.
No, and she's like, okay. This is when she gives her consent, isn't it? And she sits down and tells him how great he was and loyal, and calls him the Prince of Weatherfield and everything. And she puts a blanket over him and strokes him. And Tyrone's not the best. He's like,
useless.
Nana, are you okay? Are you all right? And she's like, of course I'm not all right. What a ridiculous question that is.
And then he runs off and leaves her. He lets her sit alone with her dog while it's being put down because he says, I can't cope with this. And he keeps going on about Monica. It's like, sorry, Tyrone, it's not your day. It's Evelyn's day.
To be fair to him, he didn't have a chance to do this to Monica because Monica, his greyhound from 20 years ago, literally just popped out of existence, didn't she?
He's probably not accustomed.
One day she was in it, and then the next we never heard from her again until now.
Yeah.
It's a bit like Rover. I'm kind of assuming that Steve's dog's dead at this point, but it's never been mentioned. So it's good. Well, I'm glad for Cerberus that at least he got an exit at least. But yeah, Tyrone's being an idiot, asking her if he's all right. But I think it's that she's all right. Sorry, but then is that dog all right down there? Sorry, I've not been paying attention.
What's happened to your dog?
No, and then but he apparently gets too sad and has to leave.
That's what I said.
That
useless.
I know. I'm sure you were thinking that as well. But then I was thinking about when we had Safi put to sleep.
Yeah, you did. You left me to it.
I didn't run out of the room because they asked us whether did we have to go back in. And then we had to decide whether we wanted to go in or not. And I was like saying, I don't think I can. And you went in. And
I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I didn't go in.
I know. So I was the Tyrone of us then. But anyway, I think...
You didn't run off crying.
I didn't run off crying. I was just like, I can't. I'm sorry.
Well, we all got to do hard things for each other sometimes.
Yeah. But I think the scene was a lot better without Tyrone, to be honest. At the end of the day, Cerberus...
Maureen Lipman was the...
We needed no one else.
Anybody else in that scene.
I mean, yes, we had the nurse and the vet, but it was all on Evelyn. It was just like so... And the thing is, like, it's so easy for Maureen to crack out a performance like that because she's not a dame for no reason. She's not, one of the most...
She's not new to the game.
She's not. And it's like, what? Yeah, you want me to make the nation's heart break? No problem.
You want me to break everyone's heart on a Wednesday
quick look at the script. Fine. Job's a good one. But she was just awesome. And I think Tyrone there blubbing away. And I do rate Alan Halsall as an actor, but it wouldn't have added anything for him to have been there. And Cerberus was her companion, or has been her companion for 10 years, and she's been living on her own for so long after her Cassie died, and just so good. Anyway,
just the way that Cerberus, the acting dog, was lying there, is probably thinking, "Oh God,
is this real?
What's going on? Am I dying?"
Yeah. I was like, I didn't know how much of the scene we'd even see, because sometimes with these things you see like the just before the death and then they cut away. Like I can't remember what they did with Eccles what was it? It must have been 2 years ago now. I don't know whether we actually saw the injection going in or anything, but I was like waiting for them to cut away, and they did it under a blanket, didn't they?
Yeah.
But it was still a little bit more
visceral,
graphic, or maybe, than I thought it would be. But at the end, I'm glad they kept it all in. I wouldn't have changed that at all. Now they had some great camera shots as well.
They did. The director was good.
The camera was like on the ceiling. It was above, wasn't it? Which was
like
brilliant.
We were watching where he was going next.
Yeah.
Doggy heaven.
To go and chase him. Oh, that was a great line. What did Tyrone said? Oh, you go and chase Monica, and then after Tyrone goes out, Evelyn's what's it? What's she? I wrote it
by
down.
All accounts.
Yeah, by all accounts, Monica was a lunatic. You stay well clear. Great.
Even in her grief, she's a cow. Good old Evelyn.
It was like, having a joke in times of great sadness, which it's just like when my mum was on her deathbed, we were still having a laugh and a joke, weren't we? With her. I have
not
to
going
say.
No.
But anyway, I'm sure that the Cerberus was laughing along as well at the same time. Anyway.
Yeah, he's going.
And I'm Muttley. Back they get home, and this was now another great camera shot. It was like a really low down one on the cobbles, wasn't it?
It was like from the ghost Cerberus's perspective, following him around.
And that she's there with the collar and everything. And
that's the saddest bit, when your pet dies, especially if they're your only pet, and you go home and you've got all the stuff there, and you're like, there's the empty bowl, here's the leash on a hook.
Well, I remember when Dad went to take Zoe, that first cat, to go and get put to sleep, and I didn't go to the vet. I don't know where the mum went as well, and I ended up like taking a bowl and cleaning a bowl. And I was like, I don't know what to do, so I ended up cleaning out a bowl and washing it up in the sink and stuff, so it'd be away for when he got back. But then I remember he brought her back in a box and buried her in the garden. And I remember I've got vivid memories of him like pouring himself a glass of whiskey and toasting to the garden. And it's
horrible.
So many people have lost it. This is.
This is a uniting thing.
It really is, especially in this country. We are a nation of animal lovers, and we all love our pets. And there's such a huge proportion of the population will know exactly what this is like.
Honestly, this is why I don't want to get a dog.
I know, and I'm worried. Abby's listening just down there, but maybe she's asleep, and she doesn't know what's going to her. It's the worst bit about having a pet, and it's like, is it worth all those years of joy and everything?
Well, it obviously is, isn't it?
I remember you talking about when you had your Sasha when you were a little girl, and you used to hug her and cry, knowing that one day she wasn't going to be here anymore. It's just terrible.
Can't cope.
And and then you get all of the other stories in Coronation Street, like, we can't all relate to people being dosed up on LSD or having a wonky hand syndrome.
Or having another order that's late out of the factory.
No, exactly. But so many of us are like, I know exactly
this is the thing,
what she's going through.
On Twitter, loads of people were replying to tweets about Cerberus going, I remember when this, this only happened to me, like my dog died 2 weeks ago, and my dog died last year, and all these photos of everyone's dead. Oh my god!
I know. And in many ways, it was sadder than a whole lot of other deaths.
Saddest death on Coronation Street since.
I'm gonna say the last. There have been quite a lot. I mean, Seb was sad in a way.
Imran was really sad because that meant something to us.
Seb was sad. Oh, I'm just remembering Abby's reaction when she gets told that he's dead. Oh my gosh, that was gut-wrenching.
But it's like in a different way though, isn't it? Because it's like you can't look at it going, I remember when my son was kicked to death.
No, exactly that. I mean, I suppose the most recent similar one was Ollie in this young
that was
innocent.
Honestly, sorry, but no.
Because that was just a dummy line in the bed during COVID.
I know, but obviously, I mean, I felt bad, but it hits you I know it's awful. But you relate to different, it doesn't make you a bad person if your life experiences are different to other people.
I'm thinking of like other Coronation Street pet death. No, other Coronation Street
Robert
pet
was so
deaths.
sad when he got shot at Christmas.
Like Eccles. I'm not looking back at that and thinking, oh my gosh,
no,
that was
I hated
tragic.
That.
Because I was thinking, why is Emma there?
That was infuriating because everyone blamed her, and instead of being sad, I was outraged.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
like, it's not her fault.
And they did have the, some might say, unnecessary drama of Evelyn. We haven't finished the storyline yet, obviously.
No,
unnecessary drama of Evelyn and Roy falling out, but Emma and Eccles didn't hit in the same way. There was Ozzy and Maria was kind of sad, but it's like, I'm not that into Maria or Ozzy.
Eccles was probably the most iconic.
Yeah. Corrie pet.
I'm trying to think, legacy pet.
Yeah, for sure.
Of like the last few decades.
Yeah, but I don't remember feeling, I wasn't on the verge of tears when Eccles died, for sure. I just thought it was all very weird, the circumstances.
Do you think it's
and then you got what?
An Easter egg that it was an Eccles cake that killed Cerberus?
Well, maybe. I bet they're kicking themselves for not thinking of that one for Eccles.
I know, and also don't feed your dogs Easter
by
eggs.
His own petard. Yes, well, I mean that's true. Cerberus did avoid the upcoming Easter egg onslaught. I don't know.
Onslaught?
I just started that sentence. I didn't know where I was going with that. No.
Yeah, Ozzy. Yeah, fine.
What about Schmeichel?
Schmeichel was very sad.
See, I'm gonna say,
what?
If Schmeichel had died when Chesney was a little bit younger, that would have been unbearable to watch.
A little cute cherub boy
Yeah.
weeping over the corpse of his enormous dog.
But although we do often talk about Schmeichel's death being the watershed moment for Chesney and going from a boy to a man, he'd still kind of gone past the cute stage.
Was he even living in the same house as Schmeichel when he died? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
I remember him coming back to the house.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know, but
what about
it was up there.
Harriet died.
That was funny. It was definitely.
What about when Owen's fish were murdered?
Oh, by Faye.
By Faye.
Callous Faye with the
evil
cement. Anyway, so we're really, really digressing here. We need to go back and say.
Oh, we do have a Coronation Street pets episode. If you want to listen to it.
Yeah,
it's on YouTube at the moment, but you can also find it on our.
It was from episode 149 of the podcast. It was a little bit out of date at this.
ConversationStreet.podbean.com. You can find it there as well. It won't have Cerberus in it.
No. Anyway, massive digression, but still on topic. I read it even when we get to. They've got home. Roy is there, isn't he? He's kind of loitering at the shop because everyone's always where they need to be to oversee things in Coronation Street.
Oversee things.
See things.
It's funny how you say overhearing, but you don't
oversee
mean when you say overseeing. No. It doesn't. Yeah.
Anyway, they have the scene where they tell Hope. They didn't have Ruby in that scene.
Ruby's in the funeral scene.
Ruby was in the funeral scene, but I think they made a wise decision not to have Ruby in the telling the children scene. Evelyn's kind of saying, she had she had to explain.
Well, she had to comfort Hope, even though she obviously had more of an attachment.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, for Hope, this is her first. After Scylla, actually, her second pet. I mean, Hope has grown up for the past, how long's Evelyn been in it now? 3-4 years? It's been the family pet.
I would have thought Hope would have cried a bit more than she actually did.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
But she is a fictional psychopath.
That's true. So she ends up going upstairs. The child has been told, let's get the kids out, let's get the grown-ups to do their acting again. So Tyrone says, look, do you want to talk about it, Nana? And she's like, no, I'd rather bottle it up, thank you very much. So Roy finds Tyrone in the pub later, who breaks the news to him, and Roy just feels awful about this. Even if he had bad kidneys before, the Eccles cake surely must have made it worse, is Roy's reasoning.
If he really did eat this Eccles cake and he did already have bad kidneys, it probably would have killed him.
Well, I'm gonna say.
But a healthy dog, I'm not telling you to feed your dog Eccles cakes.
If your dog's looking a bit peaky, don't help him on his way.
Cheer him up with an Eccles cake.
Tyrone's like saying, it's not your fault, Roy, but Roy's like, I can't accept this. Roy's such a self-flagellator, isn't he? He really likes to blame himself for things. Back at the cafe, this is when Nina's trying to tell him, no, it's not your fault. Could have been anyone that dropped that Eccles cake. I think I saw a Eccles cake the other day on the floor, and I'm pretty sure it didn't have a bite out of it. But he's like, no, it's my fault. Miss me, Roy, I always do everything wrong. So he goes over to number 9 later, and Evelyn's like pretty terse with him and saying, look, you deserve nothing but my contempt. and he's like, I am really, really sorry. I'm so remorseful about this. And she tells him to leave because their friendship is over and they'll never talk again. We didn't see too much of it on Friday's episode. I don't think it... I wondered where it would go next, but you couldn't really top Wednesday's episode on Friday for this storyline, could you? And it's just about the kind of the ashes and where are we going to scatter him? Oh, I know, let's make it Victoria Gardens, because then we can film it within the compounds of Media City.
I don't understand why she cleared space for the urn, but then they scattered the ashes.
I wondered that as well. I think we probably missed something there, but never mind. So she goes past Roy's with the little urn of ashes later, and yeah, she's definitely still in a utterly foul mood with him, and not in any way close to forgiving. Roy's still blaming himself. He says it's my phone's fault. Was this the whole point of the phone addiction story? Just to kill off Cerberus, yeah, maybe. And Abby, who's just there for the lols because hey, I'm in this episode, says it's not your fault.
Thing is, with greyhounds, they're gannets, just like every other dog. They will snuff anything. If he did see this Eccles cake on the floor, if Cerberus saw it at the same time, I bet you he wouldn't have been able to get to it quick enough to stop him from eating it. The only thing you could have done is get him to the vet faster. Do you not think so? When half the time, if you're around a dog and you drop something on the floor, the dog sees it, they're like, "Prompt."
But the thing is, the Eccles cake had been on the floor for a while, and Roy didn't pick it up because he was too distracted by his phone. I think that's the problem here. Evelyn saying you should have picked it up straight away, and if you hadn't, he wouldn't have eaten it. Anyway, Nina goes round to see Evelyn later and says, oh, Roy's really sorry, he's given up his phone. I mean, Evelyn is kind of uncharacteristically speechless for a time when Nina says, yeah, he's so sorry, he's not going to go on his phone anymore. But anyway, he turns up at the ash scattering, doesn't he, at the end, and they kind of leave it there. They have Hope giving a weird eulogy talking about Cerberus being based on the dog of Hades.
I think she got that written by ChatGPT.
Oh, do you reckon? I'm like, I wish they'd done a proper eulogy, but then what do you say about a fictional dog?
I mean, the only thing you can really say about greyhounds is they're lazy and they fart all the time.
Yeah.
They're really windy.
Yeah. But maybe that's why he's called Cerberus, because he does demon farts.
Because he smells like sulphur.
Yeah. Anyway, so it did peter out a little bit. I didn't know what to expect, but it was fine. I mean, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. The whole everything on Wednesday just makes anything that came either side of it. It doesn't matter because this was absolute gold for me.
Yeah, you're right. Normally I get furious when people try to make me feel sad.
You do. You really hate it.
I think I disconnected myself enough from this.
I was really worried. Did you know that we were going to get a dead Cerberus this week? Had you seen that spoiler? Okay, because I was really worried that you just get really mad about it.
I do get really angry.
I'm glad you appreciated it.
I'm not watching this stupid programme anymore.
Well, it's a good job you weren't really upset by it, because they didn't have if you've been affected by this storyline message at the end of the episode. So I was
like, I thought, honestly, it is a real thing to be bereaved from your pet, especially older people, because they have, they spend normally they've got more time to spend with their pets.
Yeah, exactly. Not
Evelyn necessarily, but sometimes they're actually the only companions they have in day-to-day life.
Yeah.
So...
Well, Evelyn went for a time when Cerberus was her only companion, when she lived in that old place, when she first came into the programme.
And I think the Twitter account did say, here's a link for pet bereavement, but the show was like, anyway.
That reminds me of when I used to work in Clinton Cars. Do you remember the story of the woman who came in and she was looking for bereavement cards, so I had to show her where the shelf was, and nestled among the human bereavement cards there was sorry your dog's dead card, and I've never had an angrier customer than this woman, who was just so fuming that we would dare put a dead dog bereavement card in amongst the dead human ones, and we were like, we get told, literally, we get sent all these cards to put on our shelves, and we get a little map of where they need to go. We have no choice where everything was, and she was demanding that we take all these cards down, and it was on a bank holiday Monday, I remember this. It's like, I don't really want to be here now. But, people do.
It wasn't about you or the cards, was it?
No, grief affects people in different ways, and people grieve about different things.
So. I mean, I remember when... we came second in Eurovision.
Exactly.
But we still got to host it.
Still got to host it this year. That's good.
That's the main thing.
So what I was really pleased with is to see the pretty universal praise of Maureen Lipman after this.
And I saw one person going, "This wasn't necessary." It's like, well, nothing's necessary.
No, I mean, I think that as stories that you can relate to, this kind of thing is absolutely necessary. But
I know, I'm hypocritical here, I know, and I admit it, unlike most people. But this is one of those things where you're like, I don't understand why you're so mad about this storyline. But then I know there are some things coming up where I'm like, this is just stupid. We don't need this to happen. There's too many other things happening. This is unnecessary. It seems like just a step too far. And so I can understand that reaction. But I think, this was super relatable. Evelyn is a sympathetic character, even if she's not necessarily always likeable.
No, and it's been so good to see people... I'm not hearing people as much, at least, or if maybe at all, just saying, "Oh, she's just a Blanche rip-off," because that was what everybody said at the beginning, wasn't she?
You've said that more than anyone else has.
No,
that people said that.
There was I've seen that a lot. People saying that what they brought her in for. She's just Blanche. She's never going to match up to Blanche's legacy, and maybe she won't, but. She's not the same as Blanche, is she? She's not.
She's completely different
having this showing her human side, and we had scenes where Blanche cried sometimes.
Yeah, but I think Evelyn's a lot more rounded of a character, and she's had more poignant scenes than Blanche ever did.
Yeah, she's more human in a way.
She is.
So I'm glad that people are loving her.
Blanche was mostly a comic character that made snarky quips, and I loved Blanche.
She was brilliant. Blanche is easily one of the best characters ever on Coronation Street. But to say that Evelyn is unnecessary because we have Blanche, sorry, I don't buy that. She's one of the most valuable assets to Coronation Street at the moment, I'm gonna say.
Do you think that Evelyn is going to get a new dog, or is she going to get a chinchilla, because that cage is going begging?
I don't know.
Maybe we should get a tiny monkey.
This is the other thing, when old people get to a certain age, they say, do I get an animal that might outlive me?
My nan was like this. She's like, I'm not going to get another dog because I'll die.
I'd quite like to.
For ages.
I would quite like to see Evelyn with a little puppy.
That's what the Queen said. That's what the Queen said, and then bloody Prince Andrew bought her 2 puppies, and then one of them died.
Oh my gosh!
And now he's got them.
I don't know whether
he bought her another one.
I don't know whether she needs another pet. I quite like the idea, just because I like Corrie pets. I want to know whether they're still going to keep that ceramic greyhounds next to her chair. Yeah, maybe.
If I was an elderly person and I had a pet, I would be more worried about how sad my pet would be if I died.
Yeah.
But you can do stuff, can't you, where you get the RSPCA to, if you pay some money, they'll take the dog from you if you die. If no one else will.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I mean, if Evelyn dies, then...
Well, this is what we said to my nan. It's like, if you die, we'll have your dog, you idiot.
Yeah, exactly.
Stupid nana.
I'm kind of interested to see, and I don't know whether we will get anything like this. Like, is Cerberus's death going to have any long-term effects on Evelyn? Because she was, like, really shaken and not herself after it happened, understandably, but, like... What's she going to be like back at work? Are we going to? Are you expecting to see anything like this, or will it just be let's give her a bit of a break now, and then when she comes back, it'll almost be like it hadn't happened?
I dare not speculate.
I don't know. I guess we'll see. One thing I'm sure of though is that she's going to make up with Roy again. I suppose this is why they had been making a little bit more of Roy and Evelyn's friendship over the past few weeks, hadn't they? And the whole thing with him not going to her birthday party and everything. And it felt like, were they going to go down the Roy and Evelyn romance route? But yeah, maybe not. Maybe it was just all because of this. But they'll make up. But the question is, are they going to make up because she realises that it wasn't Roy's fault, or what do you reckon?
Maybe he's going to get her a sponsored giraffe.
Do you think?
And they can go to, what's the nearest zoo?
Glad I can always trust in you for
Chester. What's the nearest
sensible...
zoo? It is Chester, isn't it?
I've got no idea.
Go look at adopt an otter. They've got pockets.
Okay, so absolutely fab stuff. I really, really loved that. Really tragic.
It was very sad. It was very sad, and I think everyone was feeling too many emotions on Wednesday.
It was, there was so much outpouring of grief on social media, and I'm sure that the social media people at Corrie were like lighting up, going ka-ching, ka-ching.
Do you think so?
Well, it's funny how, just like a dog dying can get people chatting about Coronation Street more than a serial killer on the loose.
A lot of people were saying, "Oh, this is the best storyline they've done for ages. This is what Corrie should be about. And it is a simple story. It's such a simple story, and it's a human story, and it's a sort of story that you could have, had in Corrie when it first started."
Do you think that it needed the Roy falling out with Evelyn angle? Would you have preferred them to just made it just about the dog dying?
Not to have had any of that in it.
I think I would as well, but I understand why they do it.
I think sometimes they have to do that because they need everybody to get their episode counts in.
No, I think it was more just we need to create unnecessary drama just to string things on.
No, I don't think that's it.
I don't think it's to do with Roy's episode.
They make things really complicated when they don't need to be. They really don't need it to be this complicated sometimes.
I mean, if you think back to Hilda and Stan's glasses after he dies, she wasn't falling out with anyone else at the same time, was she? Maybe, I don't know.
I don't remember.
Anyway.
I'm going to do about Daisy now.
Daisy stalking. Which we didn't have any Justin this week, so this was fairly joyous, wasn't it? There was a bit of a contrast.
Well, there was a bit of a to-do.
There was a to-do at the
Shall I tell you?
Yes.
Daisy's wedding band can't do the day.
Oh no!
Now we call them wedding rings in this country, but in America it's a wedding band.
Not that sort of band.
But this is an actual band, a musical band.
As Rita would say.
They've got another booking now. What a pain! And Amy's got a dress fitting today, and then Daisy. Oh, this was sweet. Daisy asked Jenny to give her away, and Jenny gets all emotional and she's like, "Oh, I will, but what about Christina?" And she's like, "I don't care."
They had to do that.
She gave me away years ago.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to get to see? We've got to see the ceremony.
I assume so. I mean, I
don't know what's going to happen with this wedding. I don't know if they're going to end up getting married or not.
I don't know.
You never know with Coronation Street if a wedding is going to go through.
I literally, honestly, do not know if they're going to get married. Honestly,
is, though,
I know some things, but I don't know that.
The more things you know about the particulars of the ceremony before it happens, I think the less likely it is you're actually going to see the ceremony.
Yeah, maybe. I'm looking forward to seeing Jenny's outfit. We were saying,
Christina's
was it last week? Yeah,
now.
We were saying on the podcast last week that Jenny and Christina are going to end up wearing the same thing. Well, yeah,
so,
Christina's.
No, they're not. That would have been hilarious, but
it was so sweet to have Jenny getting asked to be the
and
give
she
her away.
Cried. I love them. So Tracy invites herself to the dress fitting because there's free prosecco. But when Amy tries the dress on, she gets very self-conscious. She's obviously still feeling vulnerable from her ordeal, and Glenda's like, "Oh, I would quite like to sing at the wedding," and Daisy's like, "No way!" And then she sings all the way through, doesn't she? Glenda's just singing all the way through Monday's
episode with Glenda, every Rovers scene, just her warbling away the show tunes. It was brilliant.
I mean, she's not as good as me.
She was. It was the funny thing was everyone was saying she's quite good actually,
except
and she
for
was.
Daisy.
Daisy was like,
rubbish.
No, thank you.
I don't want her singing at my wedding.
I think Daisy realised that she is good. I just don't think that she's the look that Daisy's going for.
She doesn't want cheesy
Yeah, she called her a second-rate Jane McDonald or something, didn't she? And
Glenda's like Benidorm.
Yeah.
Right? Glenda's like, knees up, jolly along, everybody's having a cheapest chips time, but having fun and being normal people. And Daisy wants, Adele.
But the thing is, she skipping ahead a little bit, she ends up hurriedly inviting Ryan to DJ
which honestly
at her wedding.
is like the lowest rent thing you can do.
Exactly. I think that
not DJing, but having Ryan DJ, who's like such a loser.
Massively. I wouldn't have thought that having a DJ like Ryan would really be Daisy's style.
He can't even fill up a speed dial at lunchtime. So...
Yeah, she'd need to find a band of sorts.
This is the thing that people don't sometimes seem to understand about a wedding, is that, yeah, it is your party, it is your wedding, you should have what you like, it is your party, etc, etc, but it's also a family thing about your two families coming together, and you have to compromise on quite a lot of things, actually, so that everybody has a good time. There's no point booking, where's he go? Ibiza's premier loser DJ, if like half the people are inviting their old grannies who won't like any of the songs.
Don't talk about Daniel like that.
Daniel's like, can you put on a Charles Dickens audio book, please? So
can you get an authentic Tudor band so we can hey nonny ronny around the maypole?
Oh dear. So yeah, Daisy doesn't fancy that. Somebody can't come to the hen night. I don't know what that is. Anyway, Amy meets up with Summer. Is this the right?
What was that?
Are we having Amy and Summer in this storyline as well?
Yeah, I didn't mean to. This is where I got my notes mixed up, actually. So maybe we'll come back to that later.
Okay, right. So Glenda's annoying Daisy, still belting out the tunes, and Daisy sends her to the back, and Peter and Billy are like, ooh.
Quite good, actually.
We like cheesy show tunes. Don't know why.
Billy's like,
that's not
thinking of hiring her
at
for
all.
the church choir.
Later on, Jenny tells Daisy, hire Glenda or put her out of her misery. But then Ryan walks into the bar and Daisy says, oh, be my DJ. And he accepts, and Glenda huffs off. Wednesday, Alia and Ryan agree to meet up at the bistro. And, oh, God, all Wednesday, Alia was like, oh, I'm having an issue storyline. I've got PTSD. Oh, what was that? Oh, it's a horn. Oh, somebody put books down really loud.
Didn't she? Just to remind her, she's been a bit of a victim so far in 2023.
Everyone's moved on, Alia. There's a dead dog on the street.
Well, maybe that's probably why she was doing it. People weren't paying attention to her anymore and saying,
oh, there,
Alia, you're so brave. So she's like, oh my gosh, what was that loud noise?
To be fair to her, she did get blown up by terrorists. But no one cares anymore.
No.
Sorry, Alia, nobody cares. And I know that's callous of me, but you're not real. Daisy brings the Ryan all of Daniel's requested songs, and I want to know what his playlist was, because they're like, what the hell is this? Then we get Crystal, who's the owner of Milk, which is an amazing club. And they start chatting, and Daisy bigs him up, and she's like, oh, wow. And what is it? She says, oh yeah, she was doing DJing during lockdown, streaming from my house. And he didn't go, me too, because like 5 people watched the stream. So, do you remember that?
Yeah,
he was doing that. And then, and Ali was like, what is this rubbish? Do you remember?
Yeah, that was what, I think that was what Daisy was watching him then, wasn't she?
Was she?
I think so. Maybe, I don't know.
Everything happened
in lockdown
simultaneously yesterday and 10 years ago in my mind. So Ryan talking to Nick about how much he cares about Alia, and he's worried about her, and
he's
stuff.
kind of this week thinking, do I give up on Alia?
This is
I
him.
can't, because I've still got feelings for her.
His fork in the road now is, do I pursue my dreams of DJing, or do I pursue my dreams of Alia? And he's trying to decide, isn't he?
Yeah.
And we haven't got a decision yet.
But he's gonna have this dinner with her, but she bails on him. I can't remember what the reason was that she said that she did it, but she didn't turn up.
Well, it's Ramadan, so.
Oh yeah.
The two get on like a house on fire.
Who does?
I don't know.
Crystal
and.
How are you getting on
Ryan.
with my notes?
You just wrote.
No, I didn't. You skipped to this one. Later, Ryan goes to the Rovers to meet up with Crystal.
Okay. And Daisy's trying to set them up, and Ryan's happy, and then he says to her, or she says to him, do you like Peep Show? And they're like, yeah, we love Peep Show. She says she loves Super Hands, doesn't she? And they like Graham Norton as well. So it turns out that Ryan and Crystal have got an awful lot in common. I would marry Crystal. She likes Peep Show. On Friday, Daisy is mocking Daniel and his little sad plans for his stag night. You've written family stage night.
I didn't write stage night. I also corrected it.
Christina's there for the hen-do, and she's
probably,
like,
you know, I'm surprised that they didn't just go to the Royal Shakespeare
well, this is what I was thinking. I was like,
whatever.
did it all fall through or something?
Well, let's go and all watch the performance of Macbeth. Just as a
No,
classic.
that's too exciting for Daniel. It's like watching a
What's the
one
most
man
boring Shakespeare play?
No, it's going to be like a one man slam poetry session about the recession. Right, so Christina's like, I've got a surprise for you later. Alia apologises.
Yes, that's right. Christina turns up.
I said that.
Oh, did you? Oh, sorry.
You were looking at your phone.
I'm not looking at my phone.
Yeah, that's the same as your phone. That's your watch. Alia apologised to Ryan for not turning up yesterday, and he's like, whatever, I had a great time because Crystal's cool. And I bet you Alia doesn't like Peep Show. I bet she thinks it's puerile.
Oh, yeah.
I bet she thinks it's nonsense. And I bet she watches it going, why are you looking out of their eyes? It's silly. Nick's like, you just want to go to DJ in Ibiza, but maybe there's more to it. Anyway, the stag do commences, and it's Adam, Ken, and Steve, and Daniel, and who's supposed to turn up later?
Peter comes later.
Peter's supposed to come later, and they're all having cocktails, and Daniel isn't happy about Daisy speaking to Ryan about all this Justin stuff.
Yeah, Daniel and Ryan get talking, don't they? And he's just he just gets worried that they talked to each other last week. That's it. It's probably going to play.
What's that got to do with anything?
Well, at one point he's like, I'm going to go back to the Rovers and I'm going to ask her about it, but he doesn't. But I think maybe next week, I'm guessing it's going to turn into something. Is he going to have a last minute wobble or something? I don't know.
Back at the back room of the Rovers, they're all decking out for the hen-do, and Jenny's got this. They've all got personalised t-shirts, and of course, I love the fact that there was one that had Gemma written on the front.
Where is that t-shirt?
Can we have it, please? At the raucous hen-do, the girls are doing shots, and they're talking about who they would kiss, which is obviously Ken Barlow, a ladies' man through and through. And meanwhile, Ken is telling everyone this really boring story about something.
It's Tintin. He
started talking about it, and then he finished the anecdote, and then you looked at me and go, what was that about? And I was like, I don't remember what it was. I'm sorry.
I thought this
Tintin.
Was brilliant. What a great idea. What a brilliant idea to have boring Daniel, have a boring stag do with boring Ken. And everyone's just sitting there going,
and the thing is about it is that it wasn't necessarily even that weird or like dull for Coronation Street stag do
no, I mean
history. Because like go and have a meal at the Rovers or the bistro and have drinks with your friends.
I think it was just the contrast between what was going on at the Rovers, where they're all dressed up in balloons and banners and pink and shots and everything, and then cutting to these guys. You know, it was literally just a family do because Daniel hasn't got any friends. No, it seems
no friends at all.
Sitting, it was really, really clever. I love that.
Daniel hears that Daisy's had a panic attack. Where's that come from?
That was last week.
Why does he know this?
Because Ryan told him.
Ryan should be talking about that at stag do. And so he wants to go see her, and they say don't. And then Nick says, go to Ibiza to do your DJing.
Not to Daniel, though.
Did I say Daniel?
No, you didn't. You just didn't say who.
Oh, Ryan. Nick says to Ryan, Nick says to Daniel, they're gagging for people like you in Ibiza.
Nick says to Daniel, most people go to Ibiza for their stag do's, but thanks very much for choosing the bistro.
Yeah, it's a voucher for your next wedding. I'm going to tell you have more than one.
Everybody on Coronation Street always goes to the bistro or
exactly.
Speed Dial or the Rovers. What I said,
yeah. So you trust your instincts and go do what you like. Basically,
he basically says do what you fancy.
Do what you like.
But you could have earlier. You could have your DJ.
Crystal,
you decide.
You decide. Don't talk to me about it. I don't care. So Christina has unveiled her surprise, and it is these two bitchy school friends who bullied Daisy when she was a kid, and her brother died, and said, what should they call her?
Downer Daisy.
Daisy
Downer or something, yeah.
And she says, oh no, I just met them in town, I invited them because they were your friends. And Daisy keeps outright saying to her, they were horrible to me, I don't want them to be here, I wish you hadn't invited them, I told you that I didn't like them. And she's like, oh no, whatever.
That's
they're
very
fine.
much like she is with Justin, isn't it? Daisy trying to get her to see this guy is really dangerous and he's
Christina
hounding me. And Christina's like, oh, don't be silly, you're over-exaggerating. And it was exactly the same with this, because these two girls that turned out were just massive cows, weren't they?
Yeah, but you can tell that they were like, to be fair to them, I don't know why I'm saying this, but she does go on the internet and go on about how cool her life is, and then you turn up to her hen-do and it's in a backstreet boozer with a bunch of people getting drunk on ping pong prosecco.
And
Rita's there going, don't be disrespectful to me, I'm wearing my wedding dress made of toilet paper. So yeah, if I was somebody's childhood bully and I turned up at their hen-do and they were doing that, I'd be like, but that's because I'm also a cow and I don't get invited anywhere for that reason. So yeah, they're just catty and mean, and everyone tries to kind of include them, but they won't stop being bitches. And Ryan tells Alia about Crystal and this job offer in Ibiza, and she's like, oh, you should go.
This scene was tragic, because Ryan's telling Alia about it in the hope that she's going to say, oh no, don't go, I'll miss you. And she's like, there's not even an ounce of that, is there? It's just like, brilliant. And she doesn't do it in a like saying, yeah, you go, I can't wait to get rid of you or anything. She's genuinely thrilled for him, isn't she? She's innocently thrilled.
Just doesn't see how that's going to affect her.
No, it doesn't register to her.
No. And she's missing this opportunity here, because if she started dating Ryan, he would treat her like the victim she's always wanted to be.
Exactly.
but no, she's letting him slip through her fingers. Crystal comes around later and she's like, yeah, let's do this. You come to Ibiza with me. So meanwhile, the stag do heads into town.
We don't see that
because Daniel's having fun and we don't want to break character. Things are lively at the Rovers, and the gate crashers are...
This is when they're playing the ping pong into the glasses game, aren't they?
And they keep making snarky comments, and she's like...
Gemma does make horrible. It easy for them, because she starts to... They do a truth or dare game, don't they? And Gemma says the worst thing she did on a bus was having a wee. And like, if you're looking for something to take shots at and you're a bully, it's like, that's a bit low hanging fruit.
One of your new friends, like you think you've moved on from us and you're better than we are, because we were mean to you at school, and then your new friend literally wet herself on a bus and think it's a hilarious joke. Yeah, you are. You've not done well for yourself.
Daisy is like all for chucking them out of the pub, and still Christina's like, that's just
fine. It's just fun. And they start calling her Daisy Downer again, which is like just the worst. They obviously have no perspective, have they? They obviously haven't thought that was kind of mean when we call her that whatever other times. Let's just let's move on. No, everybody. I think, but the thing is about it is that Daisy still seems to be stuck there as well. They're all really immature. So Daisy huffs off, and then the taxi comes and says, "Oh, Christina, taxi for Christina." And this is when Daisy triumphantly says, "I've ordered you a taxi. Get out. Don't want you to come to the wedding either." And this was like, what? Where's this come from? As she's walking out, Christina picks up a script from 1975 and says, I don't want to come to your wedding anyway because there's a family curse. No woman in our family has ever had a happy wedding day, and I don't think you're going to change that.
Well, they built up to calling it a curse, didn't they? First she says what has always happened. I thought that's a bit weird. Is she saying that it's like cursed or something? Then she literally says it's a curse.
I know, it's like
weird,
that is the
but
corniest
I'm going with it.
coronation.
I'm going with it.
Like that was the weirdest thing I think that Corrie's done in a long time. Say what you like about hitting people over the head with a hole punch, or pushing them in a bin, or what other weird stuff has happened. I don't know. But saying there's a family curse.
It's a good job Gail wasn't there at the hen-do, because she'd have been terrified by that. She remember when she was quivering about the curse of Richard Hillman when that
She'd
charlatan
go,
medium
I was cursed.
Yeah.
Right. She leaves in kind of a triumphant kind of showed you, put you in your place.
Yeah, it kind of very much felt like, I am cutting all ties with you. I didn't want to come to your wedding, and I don't know how there can be any comeback for the character.
Christina's such a horrible. I feel really bad for Daisy, and unfortunately, her evil bullies left with Christina probably laughing all the way back home, going, "Oh my God, did you hear her mum say she was cursed?"
Well, I don't know. I kind of imagine the mum heading into town with these other two girls and laughing because the mum wants to be cool and young and with it and everything. That's why she was going out with Justin. Exactly. So I can imagine them going down the... they probably just went down the road to the bistro and had some of those extra cocktails and laughed at what idiot her daughter is.
I really don't think that Daisy won this encounter, but she pulls herself together and they make toilet paper wedding dresses, but it's not as fun as it was because Rita left in a huff, didn't she? Because those girls were being mean earlier.
I mean, I guess it makes sense that Rita was there with a kind of being part of the family, kind of.
She does say to them, "You're nincompoops," doesn't she?
Yeah,
That's
she
what
does.
She calls the girls.
I like the bit when she was when they were standing up. I can't remember what they were doing then. There were bits, sometimes when Rita talks, I'm like, you're past your best. But other times, then when she was stood up, I can't remember what she was saying, and I was kind of into her there. So it was a shame that she had to leave in the end. But
it was really honestly, the story these two girls are going to have.
I hope that Rita's going to be in it on Monday.
About Daisy's hen-do it's not gonna do Daisy's reputation any good, is it?
No.
Hen-do's over. Daniel's back. He goes to see Daisy in the back room, and she says, "Oh no, you can't see me because it's bad luck." But I didn't think it was bad luck to see the day before the wedding. It's only the day of.
Yeah.
But anyway...
she's just like, I thought I had one day, one evening that I could spend away from you, banging on about Seamus Heaney. What are you doing here, Daniel?
He's like, "I've just discovered a new World War I poem."
I must tell you about it, Dave.
We went into town and I found an old bookstore. It's written on a bookmark.
Is it too late to change the reading at the wedding?
Boom, boom, boom. Right, so, she says, "Oh, it was awful. We got a family curse." And Daniel says there's no such thing as curses.
So why is Daniel?
Which is not true on Coronation Street. Then the lights go out. And Jenny has to go and sort it out while they have a little kiss and everything seems fine.
Yeah, I think by the end of the episode they're like, everything's going to be fine.
But I think this was the beginning of an episode of Celebrity Help.
Do you think? Show
me the ghosts.
So did you enjoy this storyline?
It was week? I enjoyed it. They I just wish that Daisy had put those two cows in their place a bit more than she did. They just kind of got to win, didn't they?
They did in a way. I mean, she's going to win eventually because she's bagged herself Daniel Osborne. I mean, ultimate prize. But yeah, it showed a vulnerable side.
It was a bit weird. Here's another weird thing.
They could have had her being cowy back, and then I maybe would have looked down on her a little bit.
No, I wouldn't. I would have been great, cow each other out. Here's the weird thing. How come Daisy spent all of her time arranging freebies for her wedding, but she didn't get anything for her? I know it's not really normally the bride's job to do the hen-do, but you would have thought she would have got free stuff for that as well.
Did you see that tray full of biscuits and cakes?
I know, it was all very pink, wasn't it?
Yeah. I wish that Jenny had stood up to the bullies a little bit more.
Well, she just let Christina invite these cows round and then say...
Yeah, she was just kind of behind the bar a little bit too much. I would have liked to have seen her standing up for her kind of daughter a little bit more.
I wanted them to get... there were hooks slung, but they didn't. Christina basically cursed her daughter and walked out in a Disney
It was a lot of
villain.
fun. I often forget before Corrie wedding that there's going to be a stag do and a hen do. So when they started talking about it, I was like, oh yeah, I guess that does make sense that they're going to have that today. And often they're, nothing to write home about. But honestly, I think that was a decent, memorable hen-do.
That seemed like it was, apart from Christina and the horrible girls, it looked like everybody actually had genuine fun and they were all getting on with each other.
The Rovers was packed.
Yeah.
With all of her non-speaking extra friends.
They're my favourite sort of friends.
No, it was good. And
they had good, and Gemma and Jenny seemed genuinely excited about making sure she had a really good time.
Yeah, and then you had the contrast with the boys. It was that was a win for me.
Yeah.
So bring on the wedding, and like we said earlier, we can't speculate about it.
Show me the wedding.
Because Coronation Street has said, "Hey everybody, look what's happening at the wedding on social media."
Okay.
So I hope that because we've got lots of listeners who like spoilers, but I know that we've got lots that don't like them, and
we're not going to talk about them
hope
being
you've managed
a spoiler
to avoid
anymore.
What's going to happen.
Okay.
Do you think that is Alia going to start mooning after Ryan now? Do you think? Is she gonna? She's gonna realise that Crystal's potentially taking him off to I don't see Ryan going off to Ibiza, but
no. But we did get Alia mentioning it's Ramadan this.
Oh yes, we did. Oh, we
today
did
on
appreciate
Friday,
that.
which started on Wednesday. So happy Ramadan.
Happy Ramadan. Right.
Celebrate that.
Yeah, something that Alia will not be partaking of during Ramadan is the Damon drink or any kind of drink.
Nope,
so that is a segue onto our next storyline with
Imagine
Sarah, Louise, and Damon.
I just want to give a shout out to all of our Muslim listeners who now have to put up with that extra hour of sunlight thanks to the clocks.
Oh yeah, we are doing
That's
the clocks.
That's going to be a bloody pain, isn't it?
Yeah, don't forget that. Right, okay, so Nick is doing his hoovering in his braces on Monday morning. He does an Alia style jump when Sarah pops up behind him.
And he's not even traumatised.
Because she wants to know if Gail can still look after Harry tonight because she's going on a hot date with Adam to a hotel. They're going to have sexy times there.
Well, I'm surprised that Harry's not dead.
It's a late Mother's Day thing, apparently. And don't think too hard about when Mother's Day could have happened. Because,
and also
as we know, 3-day week in Weatherfield.
Think too hard about the fact your gift for Mother's Day is not having to spend time with your child.
Yeah, very good point. So Nick goes to work later at the bistro.
Maybe Harry is like, is it Harry?
Yeah.
Maybe he's one of these. Maybe he's one of these monster children that aristocratic families used to have, like in Glam's Castle, like bricked up somewhere because they are too evil.
Well, we don't see much of him, do we?
They're too hideous to behold.
There.
Maybe the evil genes of Callum.
Exactly.
Are oozing out of his face.
So Nick goes to work and then Damon's there with his feet up in the office.
As soon as Damon arrived on the screen, my brain turned off.
I was expecting it to, but like I've said a few times before, I enjoyed him a lot more. And in a similar way to how I'm enjoying Rufus being there, kind of full of swagger and lording it over Stephen in the factory, I'm kind of enjoying him making Nick squirm.
On Monday, we had some mirrored scenes, didn't we? Which I don't know how intentional it was, but we had Damon confronting Nick, but we also had Rufus confronting.
Was that Monday or was that Wednesday? I can't remember.
I can't remember, but there was another two things that happened that were the same in the same episode as well. Anyway, what was it?
What?
It was
Rufus
and Stephen,
yeah. Anyway, so Nick's trying to get rid of him, and he's like, "You're going to go behind bars soon, anyway." And Damon's like, "Oh, I'm not. I've got myself a very reputable local solicitor, actually."
Oh no!
And so Nick's like, he immediately twigs. He knows exactly who this is that Damon's talking about. Heads over and finds Adam and Sarah in the Rovers and saying, "What are you doing? Employing? Is that the right word? Representing." Damon after everything he's put our family through. How can you even think about doing that? And Sarah has a massive go at Adam about this until Jenny asks them to leave because they're ruining the ambience by having a bust up in the booth.
The thing is about it is that Adam hasn't even got any defence for this because it was his idea.
Yeah, they're running low on funds.
Well,
Desperate times.
I thought Dee Dee was the best lawyer in the world.
Apparently. Well, she's lost her chance to prove herself now in the Paul storyline, hasn't she? More on that later. So anyway,
Sarah's mad and she goes to the hotel by herself.
She storms off to the hotel by herself to enjoy the lovely room there. Damon tries to speak to Dee Dee in the street later about his case, but she is like, "Yeah, I'm your brief, but I have got no obligation to talk to you in the street. I think you're filth. Sod off, I'm not talking to you," clops on past him. So Adam goes back to the office later and tells Dee Dee what's happened with Damon and Nick and Sarah and everything, and she's like, "I told you this would happen. Why did you take Damon on? It was a ridiculous thing to do." Adam's like, "Well, boundary dispute. I didn't have much choice or anything there." So anyway,
it was this or offence.
Yes, exactly. So this then leads to the highlight of this story this week, which was Sarah turning up at Chariot Square, and they're at the bar there, and Damon's there, And it took us a little while to realise that they didn't actually recognise each other, which was very refreshing.
It's not like they didn't recognise each other, it's they didn't know each other.
No, they've never known each other. They didn't know each other. And usually on Coronation Street, if you're a main character, you've not only do you know each other, but you've probably seen each other naked, but almost, if not that, at least got your phone number in their phone already. Mm-hmm. So to have these two characters that were obviously very well known to the audience interact together in the hotel with no idea who they are, I appreciated that.
Weirdly, everyone's got everyone else's phone number, but even your wife or husband comes up as a little icon egg.
Yeah, nobody's got a photo of each other on their phone, have they, for some reason? Anyway,
they're talking and chatting and having a great time.
Yeah, they're just having a lovely time there, and she's just kind of, twirling her hair at him and just being very Sarah Lewis and flirty and everything. And he talks about just being jilted by a girl he likes, talking about Dee Dee, obviously. And she tells them about this room that she was supposed to be sharing the night with her husband. It's all been made up romantic. There's champagne and everything there. And he's like, oh, champagne, eh? It'd be a shame to waste it. So it doesn't take her long to nearly drop her drawers, does it?
I couldn't, honestly. Sarah Lou.
So they're in the room later, pouring the champagne. She opens a card that's been left there by Adam, and it's this late Mother's Day card saying, oh, you've been a great mother and wife. And she feels mega guilty about it and tells Damon, I am just about to make a really bad mistake. I think you need to leave. And he's like, he's not too upset about it. He's kind of got his hooks into her at this point, and he's so confident in himself, isn't he? He thinks, yeah, you'll be back. And he gives her his number in case she changes his mind and decides that she does want to leave. She changes her mind, and decides she does want to leave her husband. So then Adam turns up at the hotel because he's going to have another pop at Sarah. But this is when he bumps into Damon coming out. And he says he's decided by this point, because of this conversation with Dee Dee, right, Damon, I can't take you on. Change your mind. Sorry, I'm pulling out of the deal. Then Sarah turns up and it's like, oh, Adam, what are you doing here? And then it all kind of everyone starts to twig who each other is. And Sarah is absolutely repulsed to realise who she's just been fraternising with in the hotel room. And she's absolutely terrified as well that Damon will reveal to Adam that she was just drinking with this guy in the room. And so she says, oh, well, I said that you shouldn't work with Damon, but I shouldn't be the only one to stand in the way of who you work with. And yeah, so it looks like Damon's off the hook by the end of this. And so in the end, Sarah and Adam start getting a little bit frisky. So they get back to the street later. Sarah's still got Damon's phone number, and at the end of the episode, they meet up in Villain's Alley, still charming the pants off of each other. But she says, you're a top guy, Damon. Quite sexy, I will not deny this, but we really should try and stay away from each other. She
just really likes drug dealers.
She just likes the bad boys, doesn't she? We got Damon, you got Callum, you got Aidan Critchley.
Yeah.
She's
got a type.
She does.
Who knows what she was getting up to in Italy? She's probably dating all the mafia people.
She probably was. She was probably, just spend the weekends in Sicily. So yeah, she was. It's funny because she's not in any way a bad girl herself, is she?
Well, no.
Well, she's not in the slightest.
No, she's not got the imagination.
No, but I think she likes the charm that these kind of guys will often have. Sort of
woman, isn't there, that?
But she never learns her lesson.
They never do.
I mean, Wednesday's episode is about her still doubling down on the fact that she doesn't want anything to do with him. But basically, Damon sees Adam and Sarah in the cafe on the beginning of Wednesday's episode. He's like winking at her and saying, oh, I'm looking forward to meeting with Dee Dee later. But when Dee Dee and Damon do meet up, she's like, to be honest, love, there's a lot of evidence going up against you. You saying you were stitched up with these drug charges. But if that's true, they really did a number on you because you're looking guilty as sin according to this paperwork.
But I thought you were the best lawyer in the world.
Yeah, she's going to have to work jolly hard here. And then he gets this text and he has to leave. And it's Sarah again who wants to meet up with him and says, right, you need to stay away from Nick. Drop Adam as your solicitor. I've found out what's been going on. I know there's a good guy inside you somewhere. This front you're putting on, I'm not interested in it. Just do the right thing. Stay away from Nick.
Why does she think that she can tell him what to do? Well, because she's sexy and got blonde hair.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So Damon turns up at the bistro straight away to see Nick, and he's looking nervous here.
Nick is.
Nick is looking. Damon never looked nervous, did he? He's so confident. And Damon says, "Well, I've been kind of mulling over what to do with you, Nick. Shall I take revenge on you? Shall I destroy you?" Actually, no. You've been through enough. So he's kind of he's going along with what Sarah says, because he fancies a piece of that Sarah Louise, and it's in his best interest at the moment to stop intimidating her brother. So Nick meets Sarah in the pub later, and he's like, I don't know what's been going on. Squint, squint, squint. What's Damon up to? Why is he backed out? This sounds too good to be true. And Sarah's like, oh no, just forget about it. Take him at his word. Don't even think about him again. It's gonna be fine. And then Nick goes back to the bistro, and he's like, says to Ryan as well, we don't need to worry about him. And at the end of the episode, there's yet another encounter between Sarah and Damon. He is determined to get her into bed, and bets her a trip to Paris that by Midsummer's Day, which did he say was his mum's birthday as well, I think, she will have slept with him. And she's like, no way, mate, you're delusional. But I think even as she walks away, she almost couldn't. She couldn't resist a little bit of a smile, because she likes the fact that this bad guy is finding her interesting. And then she goes to the lawyer's office and seduces Daniel and does
Daniel?
the old, not Daniel, what am I talking about? Adam. They do the whole sweep everything off of the desk and do the old Toya and Imran moves.
They're possessed by ghosts.
So I think it's to try and. She did it to try and tell herself that, no, remember, you've got a hunky Scotsman here, you don't need Damon.
You've already got a bad boy of law.
I really don't know whether she's going to resist for long. What do you think?
Well, she's got till the 24th of June.
Yeah, I mean, 21st of June. That's Midsummer's Day, isn't it?
24th of June.
That's not right. That's weird.
Why?
Anyway, so she's got 3 months to keep her knickers on. At least in the apart from when she's with Adam and in the toilet, I guess, and go to bed. But definitely don't drop them for Damon.
Don't do that.
Do you expect that she will? Is she going to resist here?
This come out of nowhere. They've known each other less than a week, and she's, my marriage is in danger.
Well, they had slight disagreements about baby things, hadn't they, recently?
No, I'm not talking about her and Adam on the rocks. I'm talking about her going, oh gosh, this man is so amazing. He's so sexy and interesting and funny. He likes Peep Show. I
think Sarah's realised, the same as all of us viewers, that she and Adam really don't have much going for them.
In comparison, honestly, yeah. It's weird,
They did a really good job of making them seem like a great match.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she was all dolled up, sexy and pretty for the night at the hotel anyway. But they just looked like they were having a really good time. And when she was saying to him, "Oh, I think there's a nice guy deep down in there," I was almost believing it as well, because he just seemed to be, he seemed to have a nice time with her. So I'm. Are they actually going to do it?
Yes.
Are you going to say yes?
Yes.
I think
once a soap speaks something into the ether, it becomes a prophecy that has to be fulfilled.
Well, I think that there is going to be an episode on that night, so it wouldn't surprise me if it was literally on that day.
Why
he
did
bins
you
off
think
his
it was the 21st?
bins off his mum's birthday.
Yeah.
To go and bonk Sarah.
You're thinking of the solstice.
Or maybe that's what he said. I don't know. I think maybe they did say that. Who knows? It's around about.
We'll find out when they shag, won't we?
Yeah. So you're saying that they're going to?
Yeah.
So is this the end for Sarah and Adam?
No, because he's got no prospects.
Who hasn't?
Adam. He's gonna claw onto her to the bitter end. And
I don't know if he. I think that if he found that Sarah had been unfaithful, I think that he would drop her. Even though, he was a player himself, and it may be a little bit hypocritical of him. But I'm kind of hoping that it is the end for them, because they're a really boring couple, and Sarah can do a lot better than him.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was a good yawn
We're
there.
thinking about for another 5 years of Adam and Sarah.
Well, even Tracy, one of Tracy's best lines this week was, every time I think about me and Steve having a rubbish relationship, I just think of you and Adam, Sarah, and I feel loads better. So everybody knows. But, so far, how bad on the scale of things is what Sarah has done?
Go back to a hotel room with a random man you just met up because you're knocked at your husband, and you're there for a Mother's Day celebration.
And you're drinking champagne.
And you're drinking champagne with him. I think
they didn't kiss or anything, did they?
That's what. Okay, if I did that, what would you think?
That would be pretty bad.
Understandable.
That would be pretty bad, but you could do worse.
You can do a lot worse, especially on a soap.
See, I think that at this stage, Adam probably could forgive her and would eventually. Because he's...
Well, they're all idiots on this show.
Yeah, and he's got something quite special there with Sarah and but yeah, I think any further, it's definitely dumper territory.
Dumper.
But I suppose the problem is that if Damon wants to get something out of Adam,
he's going to use this.
He's going to use it, and he could say that we did sleep together. He's got no evidence that they did. Sarah's got no evidence that they didn't.
That's not going to give him leverage.
No, okay, but if he wants to... It's not going to give him leverage.
He wants to upset him.
Yeah, if he wants to upset Adam and if he wants to have a chance of getting Sarah for himself, then telling Adam that they slept together so that Adam dumps Sarah so that she's a free woman. And I think that if Adam did dump Sarah, she's definitely going to be in Damon's bed before the end of the week, isn't she?
Definitely.
She's not going to stay single for long. So, Damon seems to be the type of guy that whatever he wants, he will pursue relentlessly until he gets it.
He's like a Terminator.
Yeah.
Or like a terrier.
And I think secretly Sarah Louise does want it as well.
She's a naughty minx.
Do you think that he has actually given up with Nick? Are we going to see any more intimidation, or is that it at the bistro?
I think there's a possibility here that he's going to get embroiled with something with Sarah, get to annoy Adam, and then Sarah's going to do something back to him, and then he's going to take revenge on Nick. Or maybe he'll threaten Sarah with Nick to say, if you don't sleep with me, I'm going to mess up your brother.
Yeah, maybe. The whole bistro angle, I think that was what got me down on Damon. I just wasn't interested in gangsters at the bistro. Does not float my boat.
Yeah, no.
But and drugs at the bistro, no. But I'm much more interested in the angle that they're going now. So I'm hoping that it's done with Nick. And just finally, speaking at the bistro, enjoy the olive reference this week.
You got a shout out.
10 years ago, we were told, weren't we? 10 years ago, since that time when Gail overordered olives. That is like the longest running
Coronation Street
gag that isn't really that funny.
But it was all, wasn't it all, who's that charming man?
Damon?
No, 10 years ago.
Lewis Archer?
Wasn't it his fault?
Maybe. I can't remember. I don't know.
Olives.
But it was the last jar of olives.
Gail, you silly moo.
Right. Lord of the Underworld, Gemma, your favourite.
Who would have ever thought that Gail would even be in charge of anything, let alone ordering olives?
What's Stephen? What's your dear Stephen been up to this week?
Oh, Stephen. Monday.
Nothing on Friday's episode.
No, I know.
Sad times.
On Monday, the factory folks are very excited because this American contract is going to be signed up and they're getting their bonuses soon. But as we know, Stephen's been blackmailed by Rufus, hasn't he, to give up the
because Rufus has found out about the LSD, and
Rufus wants to be the sole provider for worldwide rights to
having a jumper with a same slogan on as your kid.
I remember last week I was like, what was that one where it's rule breaker and the parent t-shirt says rule maker? Innovative.
I think
they should start a range that says show me the ghosts.
It's not Coronation.
I'll buy that.
It's not Coronation Street's script writers' jobs necessarily to come up with the next new idea in fashion, but the idea that Michael's designs,
and I don't know,
just being desperately wanting to be snapped up by all these.
They obviously don't have the time to like come up with anything brilliant. But the idea that, and also the most generic font they just went, scroll down, that one to do.
Yeah, I'm
baffling,
not buying it.
Rufus is convinced. That would be the funniest twist of this whole story, is if they got the numbers back from how many they sold, and they sold like 4 across the whole world. So they're getting their bonuses soon, but they're not going today. They don't know. Peter fills Roy in on Carla's state of mind, and Roy wants to go and see her in a few days because she's holed up at the
psychiatric clinic.
Yeah,
with a nice leafy green room.
She's got a very soothing bedroom, doesn't she?
She does.
She's reading a nice magazine. It looks very nice. Especially even more so considering that there's nothing wrong with her.
Yeah,
so
I know.
She's not like
just
crawling the walls with anxiety or depression or
she's just
wallowing.
dosed up on her sedatives.
She's just sitting there going, you know what? I love Bella. It's great. Look at this recipe for how to use up onions. Peter comes to the factory to speak to Stephen, and Sean brings up the fact that everybody's voted.
Yeah, there's vote of no confidence.
To vote Stephen the new boss over Carla, and Peter's shocked. So he goes into the sort of break room and has a moan at the 50 centres, and they try to defend themselves, and he huffs off just as Rufus walks in, and Stephen's like, no, it's a bad time, come back later. And Rufus is like, no, I want this market deal, and I want you to rip up the contract. Oh yeah, this hasn't happened yet. Sorry, I want this contract ripped up. I'll tell everyone about Carla being drugged. And he's like, oh no.
Yeah, I want to be the one that distributes Nipper Snap around the world. Thank you very much.
So American listeners and Canadian listeners can tell us, how would this go down in the States? And maybe he's got like a hookup to Walmart or like Target, and he could sell them there. That would definitely make a few bob for everybody. So at one of the breaks, Stephen's behind Rufus, and he's like got the hole punch in his hand. So there you go. That's where it's come back. Michael's returned it.
Yeah, Rufus is just like,
I'm
going to tell everybody about you drugging Carla unless you agree to me distributing Nipper Snapper around the world.
And I'll turn away from you.
Stephen's only answer to this kind of thing is clobbering them on the head.
So he sort of like holds up the thing to kill him, but just as he's about to, Michael runs in and says...
he just says, I'm just going home now.
All right, thanks, Michael. He's like, before I go, can I have the hole punch again?
Obviously, we weren't sure before whether the hole punch... Because Michael took it, didn't he, on the night
That's what I said. That's
Teddy's
where it
murder.
is.
Yeah.
So Rufus tells Stephen, stay in touch, walks out, and Stephen's like, oh my God, I've messed everything up. Peter goes to see Roy, saying Carla's still drowsy. She's on her medication. I haven't told her about the fact that everyone's voted her out of the jungle. Factory people and Peter are in the pub later, and he's like, you should have thought about what you were doing. What if Stephen decides not to step down and he stays in the factory and you voted him supreme ruler? Yeah. And they're like, oh no, I didn't think of that. Oh no. Sean goes to apologise to Peter.
Oh, this was a lovely scene.
And he says, oh, can I please go see Carla? And he talks about how great a friend Carla has been to him over the years. Like that time he was homeless and she helped him. That didn't happen. Peter says, oh, of course, she'd love to see you. Just give her a few days. I'm ever sick in hospital, don't let Sean come to see me. Especially not by himself. Imagine how awkward it'd be. Like a one-on-one with Carla and Sean.
I really appreciated that scene as a Sean being serious and reminiscing over what a great mate Carla has been. They absolutely did not need that scene whatsoever, but it was lovely. Yeah,
and Sean says, "Look, Stephen's going to step aside. Don't worry about that.
Yeah,
as soon as Carla's ready to take back the factory, she will." And then in the factory, Stephen's ripping up his contract from America, and because it's got colour spelt with no U. And he throws the hole punch. Rah! And I bet you, if there's anything like any of the hole punches I've ever had in my life, all the holes go everywhere.
Yeah. They should have showed that, shouldn't they?
That would have been cool if he had killed Teddy and it just explode like a confetti of holes just goes up in the air. On Wednesday, Stephen, this was so funny. He's trying to cancel this deal that he's got with the Americans.
Yeah, Angelique.
And he phones them up. And as he's talking on the phone, Sarah comes in, so he has to like end this conversation very abruptly. So he's like, hi, you're gonna hate me, but we can't do the deal anymore, see you later, bye. And Sarah's like, what's that? And he says, the Americans, they've pulled out, they screwed us over. Oh my God, can you believe it? They're awful. These Americans, you can't trust them.
He was really laying it on thick, wasn't
yeah, and he's like, what are we going to do? And Sarah's like, I don't know. That's what she's like, I don't have any ideas. Peter visits Carla, and she's looking a bit chilled out. She's got her hair in a plait.
She's kind of dozy, isn't it? Oh yeah, Carla's
she's
hair in a plait. Dozy.
She's just a bit sleepy and tired because she's had an ordeal.
She's just a bit woozy.
Honestly,
she's
Michael,
just out of it.
Michael,
she's not 100% corpus mentis.
Michael, I think she's just not wearing makeup.
I think that maybe was part of it.
So she says, I've been thinking about the factory and I'm going to give more responsibility to Sarah and Stephen. And he's like...
about that.
And she says, what? Tell me. And he says, okay, I will then. You're not in charge anymore. And she's like, I guess I can't blame them, really.
Yeah, she takes it, very nicely, doesn't she? Rather than flying off the handle. That's how you can tell those drugs work.
What are they giving her in there? Do you think she just needed some vitamin D or something? So Peter's relieved that she's not going mad about everything. Then we get Rufus coming into the factory, swaggering about, and Stephen's all mad at him for making him end the deal. And he says... so what are we doing then when you expand into America? And he's like, I don't know. I'm not going to bother, maybe. As a rule, I don't tend to work with people who drug their business partners. Hang on. I don't tend to work with people who drug their business partners. I think you're nuts and you should swap places with Carla. At least we know why she's in there. And he's like, you're so mean.
So that was great. I really enjoyed Rufus putting Stephen in his place. As much as I'm enjoying Stephen and his
is
escapades.
Such a snivelling... He is like... When he's in charge... When he's like... Everything's going well... He's very cool and collected, and he's kind of statesman-like. He's got an authoritative kind of air about him. But then as soon as things go wrong, he's like snivelling and like crawling about and wringing his hands. Going,
this is a catastrophe.
He's so camp. He's such a great character. How has he been in the show all these years? I know he hasn't been in it continuously, but it's a revelation to me that a character who was incredibly so-so has turned into this amazing villain. And I know it's not a universal opinion, but that's my opinion.
He's not up there anywhere close to the likes of Phelan or
My point, though, about his kind of duality...
Yeah.
And the thing is about Todd Boyce is that he can pull it off. And I know people will say whatever they like. I'm not interested. My opinion is that I think he plays both of them really convincingly. And I think that that's why some people have such strong reactions to the character and why they don't like him. It's because of how good Todd Boyce is at playing this snivelling, like, kind of worm-tonguey, like crawly-toady, like pathetic character. But he also can turn into this competent businessman.
Yeah.
He does both.
It's
a mask. Which one's the real him? That's the question.
There wasn't a whole lot more to talk about really in that one, was there? I'm surprised that Carla was so pleased or happy to let Stephen.
Well, she wasn't pleased.
In charge.
She was like, "Well, okay, Sarah."
Yeah. But that's just kind of tied things in a bow, really, and saying, well, Carla's not needed for this next part of the story, so it's all going to be down to Stephen.
I have no information about what Stephen's plans are for the future of the character.
No, I've got no idea.
But I'm almost... I would put money on him killing Rufus now.
Do you think so?
I would have put money on him killing...
I'm glad that he
what's
did...
What's her name?
Elaine.
No, the other one. Gabrielle.
Yeah.
I honestly think that he could end up killing all three of those characters.
But I know, like you said before, though, he needs to kill a proper character. He can't just kill these side characters if he wants to have a lasting impact. You got to kill a main one.
Well, I mean, that's why Richard Hillman goes down in history, is because he killed Maxine. It wasn't the other stuff. It was the Maxine murder that did it. Now, Pat Phelan...
His is...
Andy and
Vinny and Luke.
Andy and Luke were, I would say, comparable to Elaine.
They weren't majors, but they were on the regular cast. They had their stories, list.
Yeah. He didn't kill anybody. I mean, he didn't kill Michael. He watched Michael die.
Yeah, and Michael was also very, very minor. It was just us that loved him, I think.
I don't think it was minor. No, it wasn't minor. Yeah, I'm just. If he only kills, so he's killed 2 people now. Yeah. If he kills Rufus, I'll be happy. But if he kills Elaine and Gabrielle as well, I'll be like.
They've just got to be careful with the style of his murders, and are they just going to have?
Oh, that's what I was
somebody's onto him, so he kills them.
Yeah, he needs to kill.
He needs to kill in another way,
cold-bloodedly.
Yeah,
like in a calculated. I'm going to get on top of things kind of a way. But the trouble
not necessarily
is, Michael,
because they're onto him.
The trouble is, Michael, is that is very hard to depict. Like we said before, without an internal monologue.
I'm sure they can manage it. I'm sure they'll find a way.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying it's a bit more difficult to pull that off than it is, Teddy's running away, I better hit him with a hole punch.
I'm glad that they didn't go through with that. Like, when I saw him pick up the hole punch, I was like, no,
he's not going to kill him halfway through.
A bit of originality, please. Yeah, I mean, it was an advert break, wasn't it, when that happened?
Yeah, I did. Well, it was in the middle of wasn't there people around?
Yeah.
He's not going to kill him in the middle of the office. But, a hole punch fell on his head. Yeah,
no, exactly. I wasn't particularly concerned for Rufus then. But
I thought it was...
They need to do it in a different way. It's got to be a different method each time.
But it was good because it demonstrated Stephen's rage, you know.
Well, and also that
desperation.
He's already gone down that rabbit hole, and he didn't really think twice about raising a hole punch to his head as well. It's like, I've killed twice. What's the third victim?
And actually, the other 2 I liked more than I like you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I didn't really like them.
I don't know how to respond.
The watch is think we're going to murder somebody.
It's going to be, we're going to have the police round. Okay, so...
Anyway, so here's my prediction. He is going to dose... He's going to kill Rufus with drugs.
He's going to give him a taste of his own medicine.
Yeah. Do you not think?
Maybe. I don't know. I've got no idea.
Because that would be poetic justice in his mind against Rufus, because he's the kind of guy who blames everything on everyone else. So in his mind, I'm sure he probably thinks, the only reason I ever gave Carla LSD is because you had it. I wouldn't have ever done that if it wasn't for you.
Yeah. I don't know whether I want them to kill Rufus or not.
Well, I do.
It just seems a little bit too low key. But I don't know, we'll see. So the pull my finger storyline then.
You've got to change the name of this. This is the last week. It's going to be called Pull My Finger.
No, I don't think so. So Paul and Billy having a lovely romantic breakfast on Monday morning. Summer's very excited by all this because she thinks that this means that Paul's moving into the flat officially now. But they're a bit like, oh my gosh, no, of course not. See, that's the same as Summer and Aaron as well, isn't it? Because Aaron... It was the end of this week that Aaron was saying to Summer, oh, are you moving back in with me? So exciting. And she's like, oh, no, I couldn't possibly. Let me take my time. But she was the one earlier on in the week that was saying, come on, Paul, get moved in with Billy.
Yeah.
So it's not good. She can wait. Why can't Paul? Anyway, Paul and Billy go to the pub. Billy's trying to convince him to move in, but Paul's saying, oh no, it's a big decision. See, I don't really get these things sometimes. If you've moved in, if you've lived with someone before... and you're kind of friends again, and it wasn't horrible living together, why would you stop?
Well, because he's moved. He lives with Dee Dee.
Yeah, but if he's
can't leave her high and dry.
If he's going out with Billy now, it seems like it makes sense. I don't know.
What I mean, the Coronation Street is such a wacky place, like where the world's best lawyer shares a flat with a builder.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, Paul says, look, maybe once I get back to work, which I'm sure is going to be any day now, once I got my compensation, which is definitely going to happen, I'm going to be rolling in it, my compo, and then maybe I'll move in with you then. So they get back to the flat later, and Summer says, so have you decided you're going to move in together? And they say, no, we're just taking things slowly. So it's sad. And I don't think actually, I can't remember whether Paul's hand was actually even mentioned on Monday's episode.
No, but he's doing a good job of walking around with his hand just frozen.
Is he? I'm not really
Yeah,
noticed
his hand's
that.
just like dangling all the time.
Well done, Peter. I noticed that. I'll have to
I
rewind the
think
scenes.
they told him about
Wednesday.
that.
Money troubles. Dee Dee tells Paul that it's his the rent's due in a few days. But he's like, I'll say, right, my loan. I'll get it from my loan. It's okay. Or maybe I'll have my big compo payout once I've seen Dr. Gaddis. And she's like, I don't know whether it's going to be as quick and easy as you make out. She even offers to pay his rent for him, but he's so convinced that he's soon going to have a swimming pool full of money that he turns her down as well. Well, also he's just. He likes to be again, I'm saying, is just too much of an annoying do-gooder, and it would go against his persona to agree to accept money from a friend.
Now, all right.
This is maybe inconvenience someone he likes.
This is something that happens with people who don't have a lot of money, who get a load of money, who haven't really know haven't had like a lot of experience or education about financial planning and stuff. And this is how people get themselves into trouble with loans and credit cards and stuff, because when you come from that background, and I would say that I know this from experience, as soon as you get the opportunity or you get some money, you're like, oh, easy come, easy go, spend, never had it before, treat everybody. Paul's not sitting there going, oh, maybe I should put some of it into a pension pot, or this is I think very realistic of how someone like Paul would react to the he's not thinking to himself, crap, I need to get another job, maybe I should use this money to go back to college and learn a different, learn something else that I can do, or put
But he just wants to help Gemma because he's such an annoying do-goody twin.
Yeah, I know you say that he's an annoying do-gooder, but when you're a tight-knit working class family and one of you gets money, you share it out. That's just what it's like when you're... That I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
This is completely realistic to me. Paul getting himself into this situation incredibly quickly. A lot of people probably would say, oh, he's silly, blah, blah, blah. But no, he hasn't had any experience or education about what to do. And it seems like common sense to a lot of people, but, it isn't.
Well, just to lay it on thick, just how, serious a situation Gemma's in and how she really could do with how a lovely brother Paul's money. They meet her in the cafe later, and the wedding venue have called to say, oh, sorry, we can't honour the payment plan. We need the whole lot. We need it all now. Give us your cash. How on earth will we do that? And Paul's like, oh, well, I guess it's going to have to be me, isn't it? So he goes home and phones up his bank because... Maybe Weatherfield banks haven't got apps yet, and he transfers money to Gemma. And Dee Dee's like, what are you doing? Why are you flashing your cash? You have not got this money to spend yet. Stop using that loan. Or maybe it was his bank, maybe it was his loan person. I can't remember who it was. But you're just being an idiot, Paul. I'm a great brief and everything.
I'm the world's
best in the world, but I can't perform miracles. So you're not going to be, having millions of pounds here. So anyway, Paul goes to see Dr. Gaddis later and says, I'm still not feeling better.
Well,
My hand's still a bit wobbly.
He says nothing's changed at all. I haven't got better, nothing. Because she said to him, you'll get gradually better and better. I don't know how long it's going to take, but, it could be... months.
Yeah, but by this time
nothing has changed.
Yeah, she's a bit concerned that it's still the same, so she refers him to a neurologist. And then when he tells Dee Dee about this, she looks a bit concerned because he's just got his eye on the money. If somebody told me that I was going to be referred to a specialist, a neurologist, I'd be a little bit worried about my own health for that.
That sounds bad. I'm going to get more money.
Yeah, the more money that I get, the better. The more charitable I can be, the better. But it all goes a little bit downhill for him on Friday's episode because he gets a call to say that he's got a neurologist appointment already, and even he wasn't expecting it to come quite that quickly and thinks, oh, this could be serious. Billy's like saying, oh no, it's fine. You'll know what's happened and they'll be able to fix you quicker. Don't worry about it. So he goes to go and see Dee Dee next as Paul, and he's kind of hoping that this diagnosis, if it comes, today, then that's going to speed up the payment. That's going to be fine, right? And Dee Dee says, well, the one snag really is we still need to get some witness statements from people who were there when that bike fell on top of you, including Peter Barlow. Yeah, he's going to have to dob in his own wife and say that she was having mental health problems when she drove that van into the side of you. And Paul's like, oh, you know, I hate people to hate me. I'm just such a lovely chap and I don't want to cause problems between the Barlows. And she says, well, you know, ultimately it's your decision, but I think you should have to do that. So we later see Peter marching round the corner shop flat, fuming because he's found out that Paul is basically...
Well, he's still mad about the fact it's still ongoing, isn't it?
Yeah, still ongoing. And,
he hasn't dropped his...
No, and he's using Carla's suffering to get a load of money. So clearly Peter now knows that Carla's mental health is being called into question and it's going to be used in the trial and everything, just so Paul can have this money, which Peter, to be honest, thinks you don't need. There's nothing wrong with you. I mean, we know as an audience that there is absolutely something wrong with Paul's hand at the moment, but from anyone else's point of view, he looks pretty fine, unless they've been talking to him about it. I mean, he's obviously off work and everything, but things get very, very tense there, and Peter's angry. Paul's all red in the face because and so Peter storms off because it's now Paul's neurologist appointment, who's at the hospital later, and they say, right, we've done our test back, we've had a look, we've investigated you. You haven't got.
They haven't done any tests. They just said. They've, what you've got is not a bruised nerve.
Yeah. Sorry.
Because it wouldn't have these symptoms.
We have looked at the evidence. You don't have a bruised nerve. We're gonna have to give you a CT scan. Gonna have to give you an NRI, MRI. Sorry, and you're going to be referred to a specialist. And he gets kind of freaked out by this. This is kind of he's in this deeper than he thought he would need to be. So he goes and sees Dee Dee and says...
Well, he's worried now because they said this wasn't caused by the accident.
Sorry, I didn't say that, did I? This is nothing to do with your hand. And Dee Dee's...
No, it's nothing to do with your accident.
This bad hand of yours, nothing to do with your hand.
Nothing to do with your hand, it's all in your head.
It's nothing to do with the accident. And when Dee Dee hears this, she's like...
Oh no.
We literally don't have a case now. We can't get compensation for Carla driving into this bike and knocking you out with it if you don't have any lasting injuries from it. It's over. We're screwed. And you are thousands of pounds in debt now. So he goes and tells Billy this.
Dee Dee's like, oh, you shouldn't have told me.
I know.
You just kept it to yourself.
Well, we had that with a few people later as well, didn't we?
The thing is, his medical records would be accessible. Yeah. So they would find it. She couldn't lie about this.
He goes and tells Billy as well and makes out that he's going to be okay and everything. But he's still worried and he's got these massively increasing money problems.
I notice that Paul is in this trouble because he's, like you say, he's such a nice guy, and he's trying to help out his dear sister, and he with her wedding, he's worried about her bills and stuff. And then you've got Billy, who's the archdeacon of Weatherfield,
or Wider,
or whatever he is, and he must be sitting on a massive pot of cash, and he's just going, "Ah." Like, he hasn't said anything to Paul like, look, you shouldn't have taken out a loan. You shouldn't have given Gemma your money. I don't know, but he's panicking about stuff. Like, I can't pay my rent, and Billy's like, yeah, that is a pickle.
So
Billy's like, I've got a house I could live in, but I don't.
Paul goes back to the flat, and Dee Dee says that again. I can pay you rent this month, it's fine. And he's like, no, I'm an honourable chap, I'll pay my own rent.
I know where to get money from.
By the end of the day, I'll have all the money I need. So he goes to find Peter in the bistro after the stag do and everything, and he's like, yeah, can you take... Do you remember that time you offered me £15,000 for us to settle out of court? Are you still up for that? And Peter's like, oh my gosh, yes, Paul, you're so lovely, because he obviously at this point thinks that he's going to be rinsed for a whole lot more than £15,000. He's like, oh, Paul, what a nice guy you are.
You're so honourable.
What a good Samaritan. Most people would have ripped us off, and Paul's there going, oh, it's kind of eating him up because he knows he really is ripping him off because he's trying to get this money, and before he's told that he's not going to have any of it. But then he's like, oh, I've got to back out. My injuries are nothing to do with Carla. And he goes and confesses.
Does he tell that to?
Yeah, he does. He says it wasn't to do with Carla. So, but I don't think we saw any follow up from that. Well, not with Peter anyway, because Paul goes off to Dee Dee next and says,
"Oh, I nearly done a bad thing.
I nearly took £15,000 off Peter. What can I do?" And Dee Dee says, "Well, there's if you've been affected by issues in the story, there are charities and things you can help. Who can help you?
/advice.
And you also, to be honest, they're only going to help you so far. You need to take some decisive action yourself, including backing out of paying for all of Gemma's weddings." And wedding. Yeah, sorry. So he goes round number 5 with the aim of doing just that, but in a classic case of, Gemma, I need to tell you something.
Wait, let me tell
you something first. Look at this massive card the quads have apparently made for you saying what a brilliant uncle you are. Isn't it lovely? Anyway, what did you want to tell me?
No. She's paid it off already. She's already.
Oh yes, that's right.
Paid off the venue.
She's paid off the venue, so
and
it's too late to back out with it now.
This is why they've done a card.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, what were you saying?
Yeah,
Paul?
Peter says nothing.
Paul says
nothing. I'm not. Yeah, I keep thinking of him as Peter because he's Peter Ash. Paul says nothing. And then she asks, "Do you want to be my best man?" And he thinks that's just a lovely idea.
And she says, "I know it's not traditional for a bride to have a best man, but you are my best man." So I thought that was adorable.
I did as well.
But I think she just copied Jenny and Daisy.
Yeah, unconventional.
Really had that, didn't we?
Yeah,
really
people
had
do
that.
Other jobs. So
unconventional, doing other jobs.
Well, not having the mum having your pretend mum giving you away, having your twin brother as your best man.
When you're a woman.
Weird, isn't it?
Weird.
A bit different. Makes all sorts.
So I know you think Paul's a do-gooder, but I he's just trying to be a decent guy. He stands out because most people on soaps aren't really, are they?
Well, most people in this situation, if they're trying to get money, they're trying to get it for themselves, aren't they? And he's literally not. He wants to. He's not able to work, so yes, he needs the money to pay for that. But it's not like he's being greedy or trying to get more than he needs necessarily. Although he probably wouldn't say no if somebody said, awarded him £1 million.
He convinced himself that it wasn't Carla that was sort of suffering because she's got money, and I'm not really sure. He managed to sort of justify it in his mind, and I think in this country, I think that we are quite sceptical of compo, aren't we?
What do you mean?
Nobody's really ever depicted in a soap as like, you deserve compensation for what's happened to you.
Oh yeah.
And so
it's often somebody trying to scam some compo.
And it never feels justified because obviously in other countries, especially America, you sue people and you get compensation for things because your medical bills will be millions and millions of dollars, but the NHS is free at the point of service, and so he doesn't need it for that, but he does need it for the fact he can't work, but he still has not got it through his brain, his stupid little Paul brain, that if he can't work, he needs a different job.
Yeah. And
I don't understand why he hasn't thought to himself, gosh, I think I should just see if there's any jobs at the factory or the bistro. There are just
any jobs that a one-handed person can do. Almost
any job, apart from sewing, on the street could be done with one hand.
Yeah. But, anyway, this is yet again, we could speculate, but we'd be dishonestly speculating because this morning, Coronation Street, social media...
I know, I don't want to...
all over the place. This is what's going on with Paul, and then we already did know this from other sources.
Yeah.
But I wish... Why did they do it?
Well, we can't say why they've done it because that would be a spoiler. But I think it's weird... Okay, I'm going to say it. That his hand is now turning into a robot hand that revolves.
That's not it.
Because they're doing a tie-in with Doctor Who.
Last week we were saying it was alien hand syndrome, wasn't it?
No, it's a robot hand syndrome.
It's a robot hand syndrome this week.
And it's going to turn into a pincher.
Every week
and
it's going to be something else.
Meep, meep, meep.
I want him to get like Dr. Zoidberg claws.
Or like Inspector Gadget.
Oh yeah.
Whoop whoop.
Evie, yeah. Think of all the jobs he'd be able to do at the yard there if he had Inspector Gadget hands.
I bet you Ed wouldn't give him any more money, would he? Ed's turning into a right stinge bag.
We can't talk about this anymore because we know quite a lot about what's going to happen. But I enjoyed it more. Maybe I don't know whether it is because I know what's going to happen that I enjoyed it more this week.
Spoilers are good then.
But
yeah.
Maybe it was just because there wasn't so much Billy. Right, so finally we had a little bit of the...
Shout out to Paul's flat with the window showing Underworld.
Oh yes, nice detail.
Pointed that out.
I hadn't noticed that beforehand, but yeah, that what is going on with that wall, that pink leopard print? Like,
I think that was Dee Dee's idea.
I think it was probably Dee Dee and not Paul that went.
If
that
I was
the
Paul,
lead decorator
I'd say I'm not paying rent this month because of that.
Yeah, I'm not paying rent.
I'm not living in this altar of bad animal print. Who do you think you are, Bet Lynch?
Yeah, but yeah, in the window that's there, you can see the Underworld just outside it. So nice little detail.
Next one, explicit consent warning. At one point, there is something that happens which is buried in another story, which I brought up.
Oh yeah.
Which was that Amy doesn't want to move back. Is that right?
I can't remember. Probably.
That was quite important.
Well, you tell what
Well, I don't remember because you've moved it away.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm just
Amy,
just doing a little
not
sort.
Annie.
I'm just trying to do a quick search through our notes. Sorry. Stuff. Yeah, this wasn't it? Amy tells Summer she's gonna stay at number 1 now, doesn't she?
On Monday, she says, "Oh, it's cheaper. Can you please tell Aaron that I'm not going back?" Because she doesn't want to talk to Aaron anymore.
Yes.
And Summer and Aaron are now. Are they back together?
Summer and Aaron are back together.
By the end of the week,
not
they
so
definitely
much that she wants to go and live with him.
So on Friday, Abby and Aaron are bantering in the garage, and they're talking about Amy's moving out, and Abby says, "Make sure that before she goes, that she gives you all the rent that she owes you." And Aaron asks Summer to move in with him in the cafe, and she's like, "Oh yeah, but I don't want to rush things, so not yet." And so he's disappointed and he's panicking because Ed's phoning him up like, "I want my money, give me my money, I need rent money," which I think is a bit mean.
Who is actually living in that flat now?
Brian's moved out.
Is it nobody?
Summer's moved out, Amy's moved out, and it's Aaron by himself. And I know he's been promoted from junior mechanic to mechanic. Yeah. But I don't think that actually comes with a pay rise.
He's the lone rent payer now, which he can't afford. So this episode was just about him moving into number 13, wasn't it?
Abby says, "Look, Aaron, we're not going to see you homeless. I'll check with Kevin, who's putting ketchup on a schnitzel."
What a faux pas.
In Germany. I mean, we all know what happened the last time that happened.
How'd you say faux pas in German? Falsch nicht.
Falsch nicht. So she says, "Move in with me." So he moves in, and Tracy sees it, and then Abby says, "It's because of Amy."
Yes. Yeah, so Tracy now knows that Amy and Aaron have had a bust up. I guess Monday she's going to confront her about that. Well, it depends how tied up she is with the wedding. I wonder how much Amy's or this storyline is going to intertwine with the whole wedding story. I'd quite like a lot of Monday's episode to be dedicated to the wedding, but I don't know whether it would be. But the very best weddings on Coronation Street, they set aside other storylines and just let the grandeur of the day, especially because it is supposed to be this massive special. Daisy special Instagram sponsored wedding. I want to see what that looks like. I don't want to be worrying about the other stories for now. So
this is quite funny because Ed's shot himself in the foot now, hasn't he? He's moaning at Aaron to pay the rent, and now he's got nobody paying the rent there.
Yeah, that was like the shortest term tenancy ever on Coronation Street, wasn't it? Like, Toya moves out, it stays empty for a bit, a teen's moving in, and it's like, oh, look at all us friends together living in the flat. 2 months later, all gone.
Where's Ardy living? Where's Asher living?
They're at number 7 with their dad.
Move into there then.
Oh yeah,
in Twin Central.
They could do, couldn't they? So we had, so Kevin's still in Germany, like you said. Is Bill okay? Is the only reason that they've decided to have them going off to chase or to look after Bill because they want Aaron to live in number 13? So what's the benefit storyline wise? Well, I'm thinking it is now.
They don't care about the physicality of the interiors, so it's not to do with how much space there is.
But
well, it wouldn't even matter anyway, because it's not like Aaron's sharing a bed with Abby now.
No, I know, but I'm just wondering, like, how much is Abby going to get on Aaron's side? Is it going to be Abby versus Tracy? Tracy's going to be obviously defending her little baba Amy when the whole truth comes out, and I don't know when that's going to be, but I kind of hope it's going to be soon. And Abby's going to be there on Aaron's side,
well, I'm sure
because
she's not
Aaron
gonna
hasn't
believe
got anybody else to fight his corner,
No.
because his dad's not going to come back on the scene and do it. So I think putting them together is just to help those characters bond a lot more. I mean, they're already workmates and everything.
Yeah, I guess so.
But and maybe having Kevin and, well, if Kevin's got to go because of Bill's being ill, then Debbie would have to go, I suppose. But yeah, maybe Kevin just would be an extra unnecessary, character to include in the story that's not needed. A bit like getting rid of Fizz for the Cerberus storyline. I don't know. I'm waffling. I'm a little bit tired this evening, everybody. But we have reached the end of Street Talk now. So all that is left for us to do is give this week's banging episode a score out of 5.
Yeah.
Have you got?
I'm gonna give it 4.
I think I'm 4 as well.
4 typos on the first page of Adam's document. And I just wanted to say that because wasn't Alia insufferably smug going through this paper going, Adam, honestly, you're such an idiot. Like, it feels so smart, Alia. Where's your law degree?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 4 as well. I mean, 4.5 out of me is just like...
4.5?
No, 4.5 would be like gold all week. And it was great all week, but it wasn't consistent. And it was Wednesday's episode in the middle with Cerberus that was just out of this world amazing, I thought. And everything else was just fun. I enjoyed the hen and stag do stuff immensely really today. Yeah. I really loved Sarah and Damon at the hotel there.
Well, I liked Rufus and Stephen.
Yeah, and I thought that the Paul stuff was okay. There was an awful lot to like, but
it was good. Really good week.
I've never given a 5, and 4.5 is for the almost perfect weeks. So I am giving this 4 obsessively tidy archdeacons out of 5. Character of the week is Evelyn, isn't it?
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean,
it's impossible to pick anybody else.
Yeah, and in a week where there were other strong characters, it was like she's so up there.
Tour de force.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give her a BAFTA.
Yes, please. So that is it for another Street Talk.